Hi everyone, welcome back to RC Pi and part 3 of upgrading the MN99Sa. Now you've seen how it did in stock form, you've seen how all those first upgrades went. Now we're going to have a look at what else we've done and how that's affected it. Here it is, RC Pi's MN99 Mark III, without a squeak. All that metal suspension was driving me crazy, so a little GT85 squirt on all those components, and that set it up for not just no squeak, but also a bit of wet weather running as well, maybe popping through the odd stream. The other thing that was driving me absolutely crazy before, I had a pair of these drive shafts, and the rear one I just couldn't get aligned properly. It was a little bit too long, so I've replaced it with this new one. I'll put a link to that below. This has really sorted out the problems. It's a much better piece of kit, manufactured in the right way, whereas these are horrible. They're out of phase and just nasty pieces of kit. So this is a big improvement. And the last thing, wheels and tyres. Bit more of a scale look instead of the swamper kind of tyre that we had on the back before. So I bought a couple of different pairs of WPL rims and tyres to try them. Pick those up. I'll put links below for those as well. But the tyres that came with these wheels were actually a lot grippier. Felt a lot grippier, much softer compound. So I've changed those over so I could use those wheels that I prefer. But boy, oh boy, did I have a headache with those, because I found that the wheels didn't quite fit. They were a bit too tight. So I'll just show you now what we did to sort that out and get them on here and get them easy to change around. And then we'll have a look how it drives out on the trail. So here I've got the WPL wheels and tyres that I got. Two different sets. I've swapped over the different tyres because I preferred these rims, but I much prefer these tyres. They're a lot softer, a little bit smaller, but a lot softer. So I think they'll do a much better job. So I've swapped those over. I've got foams in these, but what I then found was they don't actually fit onto the stub axles of the MN99. So I've taken a 5mm Allen key or hex wrench, and I've trapped it in this vise so that I can then force that on, give it a bit of a wiggle, just to loosen off that, what I think is probably not the wrong size, but just a poor quality moulding. So I'm going to do that. I'm doing it first on the ones that I don't really like, just as a bit more of a practice. Just forcing it down, bit of a wiggle. And if we have a look inside, we're probably seeing that we've got just the little burrs, so I'll just scrape those out. But hopefully this will mean it then fits on those stub axles properly. Even though these tyres are considerably smaller than the stock ones, still finding it a lot easier to get up those rocks, getting a lot more traction, just running a lot better generally. Although we've got rid of the squeak, we have still got quite a rattle, but I guess that's just having metal parts, metal ball joints and links. If anyone's got any ideas how to get rid of that rattle, please let me know. Now this is the only weak point with having the smaller wheels. That breakover angle is compromised somewhat, and you need to just give it a bit more welly to get over.
ridges like that. I have to admit that when I first took this out on the trail, I was expecting it to struggle a lot more with the skinny little tyres that I'd put on. But I just couldn't believe how well it coped with things. It just kept surprising me. Whether it was through leaves or whatever it was over, it was just doing a lot better than expected. And particularly over rock like this. Great, the traction's superb. I can highly recommend these tyres. The thing that you just have to think about is the scale and the real capability. And just considering, especially now that we've got these smaller tyres, and just watching out for things that you might get stuck on, pumpkins, or you know, any kind of ridge that you might go over, because it's got a reduced breakover angle, of course. But as long as you drive it as a scale truck and approach the right things, I think you're going to have a lot of fun. All of this, just driving it around, enjoying it, just for the fun, like a proper trail truck. I can't recommend it highly enough. I think it's a great little truck. Lovely to go for a walk with it. Got plenty of admiring glances from people as well. It's just a lot of fun. And I was actually hoping and looking for trickier bits the further I got up this hill, until of course I did come across something. Couldn't avoid it. You'll see what happened.
There we go. Don't know what you thought, but for me, driving it and watching it, I think it's a lot better. I think it looks better, it feels better to drive. I prefer these smaller tyres, I prefer the grip. These are definitely offering more grip, and I like it with a bit of a softer setup, more preload on those shocks, lets them drop out more, just gives it a more realistic and a plusher ride. And what you lose out on in ground clearance in the middle doesn't matter that much, because the ground clearance there to the pumpkins is the main restriction. That's what's getting you beached on stuff anyway. So I'm not too worried about that. So I'm really happy with it now. The only thing I'm considering is getting 2S LiPo for it, possibly even a 3S, just to give it that extra oomph to help it up some of the steeper slopes, get it a bit more, give it a bit more wheel speed if you need it for that extra traction. Other than that, I think it's great. Let me know what you think. Thanks for watching. Don't forget to subscribe, and see you again on RC Pie.